Hello. It's an overwhelming, actually, overwhelming is an understatement, request to discuss this topic. I'm extremely remiss to do so because people are emotional and irrational and they have a lot of different beliefs, as I very well know, that cloud their judgments on things, as is typical of most human beings, which unfortunately a lot of drama. So I like to keep any emotions and beliefs that people have on this topic out and just be hyper rational and logical. I know you probably don't feel that way. I'm of the firm conviction, and I have for most of my life, that emotions and beliefs should be reserved towards your love for one another, family members, or for society at large, and for making artwork where people exhibit emotions and beliefs and interject it to make, more beautiful creativity, whether that be writing or art or whatnot. So it's unfortunate that people, interject emotions and beliefs onto things that are, vitally important. But I know the way the world works. So, by the way, just in the past hour, and I'm going to be very careful in what I say in this video, and it's unfortunate that it has to be that way, but nevertheless, Iran had made a ultimatum, an unhappy ultimatum, that they would join in once Israel. I know there was a weather delay. They're about to roll heavy on Gaza. I'm going to spell out the word. They are about to roll heavy on it. There's countless thousands. I have a couple contacts over there, not in Gaza, but in the country right next to it. About to roll heavy, Israel is. By the way, the Pentagon just put out an order. This was for non-combat troops, apparently, but that hasn't been clarified from all my looking on this. The Pentagon has put out an order for U.S. Troops to have immediate prepare to deploy. So the order has been sent out for immediate be prepared to deploy of over 2,000 U.S. Troops, which of course means to go over to, I don't know if the Mediterranean, because right now we actually have two aircraft carrier strike groups. The USS Dwight D. Eisenhower, which is supposed to be an incredibly advanced strike group, is headed over there. Right now we have another strike group, aircraft carrier, which is the USS Gerald Ford. Something that nobody's talking about, and I keep track of this, and I have basically every day for years. There's Freedom Seed. I hope you know what Freedom Seeds are. It's produced by the U.S. military, but it's made by Winchester. It's roughly between 30-35% of all current civilian 5.56 being produced out of Lake City. There has been an order that all civilian sales, and something's happened. As a person that's been watching this literally every day for decades, no exaggeration, for decades, because I used to be a concealed carry instructor, I keep on top of this stuff. I've never ever seen anything like this, and there is no news entity that I know of that's reporting this. And the reason why is, by the way, the Israeli battle freedom stick is called the Tavor. You could go look up what the Tavor is, T-A-V-O-R. It uses also 5.56, but what happened in the past 72 hours, essentially, is that the price, it started vanishing quickly, but the price also, too, skyrocketed like crazy. In some cases, 200% increase, which averaged, like on Lake City Green Tip, which is M8555, it doubled in price quite a few places, but they kept raising the prices at the five major distribution places here in the United States for it, and even though the price kept skyrocketing like crazy, the amount started dwindling. And they're obviously not the only, but that's just 35% of anything is substantial. let's say like 35% of almonds worldwide, which is used in a million different things, including just eating almonds. Let's say if 35%, 35% of the worldwide almond supply, were instantly decimated. I mean, what do you think would happen? It's just, I've never seen this before. Frenzy and panic kicked in. And the reason why, and this is highly logical, because the Tavor uses 556 also, is that the Lake City production, which is out in Lake City, Utah, is being diverted to Israel. And in fact, actually, I just thought of this, like 24 to 48 hours ago, it was reported that the first large shipment of 556 landed in, I think, the Tel Aviv airport. The president is actually heading over on Wednesday. Not that I care about anything that he does. I mean, I've never cared about him or anything, and I really don't care about politics. I'm only interested in facts and logic and wisdom, but an enormous amount of you wanted me to discuss this, and I'll read every comment. And if you have any supporting information on this front at any level, please let me know. The Lake City stuff, because all civilian 556 has been cut off, all civilian contracts. And once again, as a person that's been watching this stuff, its price every day, basically almost every day, for decades, the past 72 hours, never seen anything like it. Gone. Doesn't matter who made it, whether it was Lake City or PMC. I don't care. The panic kicked in, and it skyrocketed completely out of control and vanished at the same time. So it didn't matter how much they raised the price. U.S. availability. I talked to 2 local people today because I know them all locally. Like, yeah, yesterday we had a run and they bought everything we had, and people kept coming in looking for it, and it's already sold out. And I've actually read countless reports of various places across the country, regular retail establishments that have this, gone, buying everything. You can say, well, it's just panic buying, that doesn't say anything. The fact that Lake City cut off all civilian sales of this, what I call HVL, I like to call it high velocity lead, 556, because it's going to Israel. By the way, Israel is said because in Lebanon they've been launching the dirty on Israel, and they've moved citizens back in Israel 2 miles from the border with Lebanon. That combined with the 2 aircraft carrier strike groups, the Eisenhower and the Gerald Ford, and the ultimatum that the IRAN has given in just the past hour, I hope absolutely nothing happens, but the weather, all experts agree, which was really bad this past week, is the only reason why they have not yet rolled heavy, because they said themselves, actually, no hearsay, that they're going to do a land, sea, and air, what's the word I want to use? You know the word I want to use, and I know the word I want to use, but I'm not going to say the word. Roll heavy, both land, sea, and air. They're waiting for the weather to get better. And it's going to happen within the next 72 hours. I think the White House is actually holding them back. And there are countless validated reports, even though the civilians were told to evacuate, that they are being banned at many different checkpoints from evacuating. We both know the reason for this. I know it and you know it. I'm not going to say it because it's blatantly obvious. And I'll be interested in reading the comments from you on this. I'm just not interested in injecting any emotions in this, and certainly not interested in any belief system one way or another on either side. I'm a person that supports the happiness and the welfare of all living, breathing beings. Whatever you think of me is ultimately irrelevant. I'm just interested in being logical and non-emotional, just hyper-rational in this video, and just looking at facts. And the reason why looking at the facts, even if you don't care about politics, and I certainly don't care about politics, is looking at this in a rational fashion, is that, you know, all of this, because the world is really small now. We're sitting in a tinderbox, and people are, you know, striking matches to light candles in the middle of a tinderbox. Globally, anyway, so far as an analogy of what's about to go down. Most of you, I've seen an instance of it. You know, I'm 51 years old, but most human beings, especially Europeans and Aussies and Kiwis and Canadians and Americans, they really don't have any clue as to how quick something can turn on a dime. It's like, you know, you take for granted that you can go to the grocery store and you can pick up some gas. You know, you take all of that for granted, and it really can flip on a dime. Nobody on this stuff, I don't care if you care. I care about it because it's a huge earmark. You know, that Lake City cut off all civilian sales. It's cut. Huge panic buying. The price skyrocketed. At the same time, it vanished. I watched this in real time for the past 72 hours, up into the deep wee hours of the night. It's still shocking. You might not care about this, and that's perfectly fine, but it is an earmark along with another mark and another mark and another mark that actually says a lot. And we got the two most advanced strike groups, which are heading into East Mediterranean, and I think you know what's in the East Mediterranean Sea. The Gerald Ford and the Eisenhower carrier strike group. Having your head on a swivel is not fear. It's the total opposite. When you can see what's coming down, you can stand on someone else's shoulders and you put on a pair of binoculars so that you can see what's coming. Then, you know, you make yourself ready. I mean, I'm as ready as I could be. You know, I got a farm, I got a stocked up cabin, and, you know, there's, other than being like a billionaire and having a, you know, a hollowed out place in a giant mountain, nobody could really be more ready than I am. I mean, nearly impossible. Right at the top, you know, 1/100th of 1% relative to everybody else. And that's a good feeling. People think, well, you're living in fear. I don't live in fear. I do not. Anyway, at the very bare minimum, something that you need to consider having is a go bag, a couple gas cans, preferably the plastic gas cans, some water cans. I recently picked up a few more of those, like the mil-spec government 5-gallon, they're really, really awesome water cans. Whatever your favorite non-perishable is, like some nut butter. I don't eat peanut butter. I use cashew butter or sunflower butter is really awesome. A micro stove, absolutely undeniably water filtration, and a spare filter. My recommendation at the very bare minimum. It's called a Pure Hiker, H-I-K-E-R. It's like $60. A spare filter is $50. That's at the bare minimum. You can stick that in any dirty, muddy water puddle on the side of the road, as long as there's not, like, you know, gasoline contaminants in it. You know, something not directly next to the road, and extract pure water. Water filtration is highly underrated. Non-perishable food, I'm going to call them protection tools, because if and when things get desperate, and I hope they don't, everybody needs to not have what they need to survive, but they need to be able to keep it. That's the reason why Fort Knox is surrounded by the largest collection of advanced military tanks in the entire world. It's like there's having it, and there's the ability to keep it, and nobody thinks that way, unfortunately. Spare clothing, some real money. Real money would be silver, platinum. I don't recommend gold, but whatever you want. Something that also, too, nobody ever really talks about, unfortunately, is that the very minimum, like a 200 amp hour battery, and of course you need a power inverter to go with that, because that will, like, if you have any sort of medical needs, or you're charging your phone, charging your laptop, a solar panel preferably also, like at least a minimum of like some of the collapsible 200 watt solar panels to charge up that sucker. Yeah, of course you need a charge controller to do that too. There's little compact charge controllers, which are more than enough It will take 200 watts of collapsible solar, which, by the way, doesn't weigh anything, and it folds up. It'll basically fit underneath the seat of your vehicle. I got like 4 of them there in the hallway. They're compact collapsible solars. They're little 100 watt foldables. But tell me what you think about this and what's happening. A lot of you wanted me to discuss this. I don't want to discuss it, and I said it in a few live streams because everybody will want to stick in their emotions and their belief systems, and that is not productive for a logical analysis of seeing, hey, you know, this is going on, that's going on, that's going on. And you actually take any one of these things by themselves, okay, don't like it, but whatever, yeah. Okay, well, that's something. But that in conjunction with this, in conjunction with this, in conjunction with this, connecting the dots, you have to be mentally collapsed not to be able to connect the dots. 2 carrier strike groups, the complete and total cutoff of all civilian 556 from the Lake City factory, which is run by Winchester, by the way. Once they roll hard on GAZA, other entities and players in the world said that that's what's going to kick off. And I think you should take their word for that. And that is going to happen. There's not literally a person in this world that does not think that they're not going to roll heavy on GAZA. Yes, I know I'm spelling it out. You know, you know, I'm pretty sure you know how to spell. They are going to roll heavy on it. There's not a single person that doesn't think that's not going to happen. When that happens, this happens, and this, and this, and this. And I don't mean WW3, however, that's like a future possibility, but at the very minimum, the type of economic whirlwind that would wreck on gas prices and food prices, and it's just like throwing a wrench into the works of a car engine. You know, it's just the engine's going to keep on going, but you know, it's not long for, you know, collapse. Whether you think this is planned or not, I'm not going to speculate about that. Random WAS, which stands for wild arse speculation, I am also too not interested in doing because it's generally not productive. But it's like, well, if this happens, that happens. We can speculate, but what we can actually see out the window right now, as far as all these points that are undeniable, it doesn't bode well. So tell me what you think. And I'm sorry I was so careful in the verbiage that I was using, but I hope you understand the reason for that. And I'm not interested in emotions and belief systems to be interjected into such an important topic. Everywhere I've been today, I was 4 places today, a couple places yesterday. Everybody was talking about this, and I know you probably are with your friends or family members, and nobody's talking about the Lake City stuff, but that's confirmed. That's pretty huge. Nobody's really talking about the fact that immediate prepare to deploy orders, you can find that, by the way, on the internet. Go find it. It's easy to find. Pentagon issued prepare to deploy orders. So you tell me what you think. And all of this adds up. The connecting the dots on this is not difficult. It's actually the easiest dot connection that I could think of. I greatly hope that nothing happens from this, but I know something will. And characters on this stage, and the whole world is a stage, as the old saying goes, have promised that it is going to happen. Multiple characters have promised that it is. And when that happens, this is definitely going to happen. And when that definitely happens, then this is probably going to happen. So logical analysis of the chain of events in the very, very near future is, dare I say, extremely predictable. I hope it doesn't turn out that way, but it appears to be extremely predictable. So thank you so much for watching, and have a lovely week.